Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Hardcore Mortgage Real Estate Business Podcast for a Wednesday, November 8th, 2023. Coming up to the end of the year, holiday times creeping around the corner, Thanksgiving, Christmas, we got it all going on. With us today, we have a special guest. We have Amber Boone, AB. Hi, AB, from EXP Realty as our guest. What's up?
Hey, how you doing?
She's so good, full of energy. We're going to have a great, lively podcast for everybody today. Also joining us is top 1% of all loan officers in the nation, Becky Alley. Good morning, Becky.
What's going on, Facebook and YouTube land? And thank you, Amber, so much for joining us. Amber is no stranger to podcasts, real estate. She even has her own little show. She can, it's not a little show actually, and she's going to be a featured speaker at CreatorCon. So we're going to let her get into all that too as well.
That'll be awesome. We're looking forward to that. Also joining us, the Google of the office, Miss Lisa Lawson. Hi, Lisa.
Morning, everybody.
And co-host with Becky Alley, Hardcore Mortgage Real Estate and Business Show, been on the air for 23 years, every Saturday morning from 9 to 10 on 97.1 FM, Mr. Harvey Free. Good morning, Harvey.
Good morning, panel.
All right, the show, the podcast and the show, produced and directed by Roberto Beauchene. He's in the booth. Again, the show and the podcast is produced by Roberto, Capital Mortgage Funding, and powered by CMG Home Loans and MLS number 1820. All right, Amber, let's get into it right away. All right, you hear all the news, you see everything going on. We talked about the weather. It's getting to be really, really cold out here in southeastern Michigan. Amber, what's happening in your world and in your market right this second?
So although they felt like they were starting to cool down with the weather, they really haven't. I feel like it's very much still, it's still a great market. We've got a lot of buyers in the market. There's not a lot of inventory, but those that are in the market and they're looking to buy, they're ready to purchase. So we haven't had a lot of issues there. It's still a hot market for investors. So while the weather may be cooling down, the market is not so much. Not as much as I had expected it to.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Amber, we talk about that all the time. I want to get into it with Becky a little bit. You know, we talk about all the time that the national media seems to be cooling down on the real estate market. Don't buy a home, doom and gloom. But we know, Becky Alley, that's just not the case.
No, I mean, the ones that are going to be busy are always going to be busy. And I am relieved that the real estate or the media has kind of cooled off on the doom and gloom because there's a lot of fear mongers. And it's because they're always going to report the negative things over the positive things anyway. But, you know, to that point is we are extremely busy right now. Offers are getting accepted. This is an amazing time to buy because Michigan has been a 365 state the last 5 years at least that I can recall. If you are staying true, you are going to be winning because even when these rates drop, if you are still out there getting your offer accepted now, you're going to be ahead of the game than when this influx of people come in and now they're paying 50, 60,000 over asking. And you have someone that bought a house $50,000 less the year prior, and they're refinancing at that point. So you need to strategize yourself. The things that you're doing right now are going to set yourself up for success for 2024 because people are going to mentally start checking out. Let's just say November 15th. That's the kind of like doom and gloom where the holidays kind of creep in. I don't personally check out. I know Amber doesn't check out. We don't check out. I actually go harder during those times. When everyone else is sleeping, I'm friggin' running.
I love it. And before I go to you, Lisa Lawson, I want to segue. That was a perfect segue, Becky. You know, Amber, seemingly the scare of rising rates is on hold temporarily. Amber, what's the sentiment out there that you're feeling now that the Federal Reserve has put a pause on raising rates? Are some of your buyers that were on hold coming back? What advice are you giving the people that were on hold?
Yeah, I think that if anybody for those who have been on a hold, you're either on a long-term hold or there's no point of holding because things are not going to turn around quickly enough for you to be ready in a couple of months. You're talking about waiting years. If you're holding out, you're going to be holding out for years. So as Becky had mentioned, you might as well go ahead and get in there now. If you're good for a mortgage now, you're going to be great to refinance when those interest rates do drop. So don't hold out if your plan is to hold out just for a couple of months.
I love that. I think that's great advice. And we've been saying that for a long time. Again, we're out there in the market. We're on the street. Lisa Lawson, you're on the street every single day. You haven't stopped getting purchase agreements in. You haven't stopped pre-approving buyers. So seemingly, I think the scare is over, Lisa.
Yeah, I hope so. You know, I think the fear mongers maybe realized it's not working, that people are still buying, they're still out there doing their thing. And hopefully it's passed. I mean, I'm definitely busy. We're all busy. And I think if you do this full time and this is your passion, it doesn't matter what time of the year it is. Typically some people say it slows down in the holidays. I don't know, just like Becky and everybody else. And Amber, I'm super busy during the holidays. So, I think if you work with professionals, it doesn't matter if it's January, June, or July, or December. We're going to be here to help you. We're going to be busy, and we're excited to do it.
Yeah, Harvey, and that's great, Lisa. Harvey, we always felt that back in the old days that people took off that 6 weeks between Thanksgiving and New Year's, right? But we're not seeing that right now. What's your vibe going into the middle to the end of November, all the way through Christmas time?
Yeah, we've sounded the alert a few times on the radio show, and we continue to send that message that there's this little bit of window of opportunity when everyone else checks out that you can dive back in. We saw interest rates actually improve a little bit. So we want to tell all the buyers out there, yeah, keep going full force, because if these interest rates do drop in the first quarter or even the second quarter of 2024, there's some statistics out there that'll show more and more buyers. So you'll be overbidding on the homes, waiving your inspections, and all that other aggressive behavior that we saw in 2022 with the lack of inventory out there. So yeah, if those interest rates do drop, you can expect the competition to maybe double or even triple on the home that you want.
Yeah, that's wise consumer advice, Harvey. And getting back to Amber, people are waiting, and makes no sense to us. Property values keep climbing and there's no end in sight. So if they're waiting now, Amber, they're just going to run into higher prices in the spring, right?
Yeah, higher prices and more competition, as was said, more competition in the spring, higher prices, higher interest rates. As I mentioned before, there's really no point of holding out. I don't think that it's going to financially benefit anyone to continue to hold out at this point. As I said, I'm still kind of newer to the game. I'm going to my 4th year of real estate. So I'd consider myself very much still new and still learning this. So as I was even affected by the fear mongering a little bit, like maybe it is going to cool down. And then I'm seeing houses that I'm listing them a little higher than I'm comfortable with, and they're getting full price offers still. And I'm like, okay, so maybe it really isn't going off like they said.
Yeah, I don't think it is. Everybody, we're with Amber here from EXP, Amber Boone, affectionately known as AB, from EXP, Becky Alley here, Lisa Lawson, Harvey Free. We got the panel going on, brought to you by Capital Mortgage Funding, Hardcore Mortgage Real Estate Business Podcast, as well as the Hardcore Mortgage Show. Amber, what are you doing now to put yourself out there on social?
So I have a pretty large social media presence, and interestingly enough, my social media is more focused on my life and lifestyle, and I just happen to throw in real estate every once in a while. It gets a little overwhelming if I talk a lot about real estate, and then I have a lot of people coming to me for real estate, more than I can necessarily handle. So social media, you have to stay present, even if you're not constantly posting about real estate. Just being on social media, letting people know that you are there, you are available, you're doing cool things, you're constantly keeping yourself educated. I'm flying out to California this weekend, as a matter of fact, to get more education, so that I can continue my real estate career. So, and just, keeping people aware of what you're doing to stay is informed as possible, so that they know they're getting the best from you when they work with you.
I love that. I think that's great. And Becky Ellie, I know Becky is a big believer in that. Becky is all over social. She's all over driving around in the car, on the streets, letting everybody know what she's doing. And if you're in business, people need to know where to find you and how to find you. And the education piece, Becky, is so important. And let's go into 2024 for a second. What are you planning on social for 2024?
To be honest with you, it's a constant evolution of who you are as a person, growing both professionally and personally. And I used to feel like I had to separate the two. I had to have my personal persona, my professional persona, and my career, my business changed when I took on Amber's that same mentality of you don't have to separate your two selves. You can be the same person. Give out great information, let everyone know that you're really a person just like them. You have the same fears, you have the same concerns, you've had the same experiences, But where you take it to the next level is that you're taking those experiences to take their lives to the next level. You learn from I made that mistake. I don't want you to make that mistake. So let me show you how you can become an investor and a first-time home buyer at the same time by buying a multi-unit. Let me show you how you can keep your money in your pocket and leverage, these bond programs and these down payment assistance programs as a first-time home buyer. You can be the best of both worlds, but part of that is being comfortable with yourself and social media and, putting your life out there. Amber is fantastic at it. I mean, she is, she's gone viral several times, and, that's why she has such a following and I actually really, I admire what you said, Amber, about, you kind of dabble a little bit of both because you understand that you can't properly facilitate and service everyone in the world, right? You're understanding that you should be so lucky that everyone in the green earth wants to work with us, but you can't properly facilitate everyone. So, it's about swimming towards the people that are swimming towards you and helping the ones that hear your voice in the crowd, because there's a lot of noise out there. There's a lot of misinformation, and all you can do is put out good, accurate, solid information and be truth to yourself. And that's the kind of direction that myself, Amber, Capital Mortgage Funding, that is the way that we are going to be trudging forward, because there's a lot of people out there giving out bad information and they're not being genuine.
Yeah, I love that, Becky, and what Amber said. And I know that we do it here. I've seen Lisa do it. Obviously, I sit side by side with you, Becky, and everybody here. And Amber, what we've tried to do here is embody what we do in ourselves and put it out there. I don't believe there's a delineation. There's no separation, as Becky said. You are who you are. Be authentic. Be real. Just come strong with it and let the chips fall where they may. If you're an authentic, honest, hardworking person, that will resonate. So when we do our social media, and again, I love the fact that you're flying out to California, educating yourself to bring it back so you can do the best for not only yourself, but for your clients and your friends and everybody, because it's all relationship driven. That's all we do in this business. It's just relationships. So what we try to do is we come with it, we come strong, and you have to be consistent. We post Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday. We do a show, we do a podcast, we're out there, and we just try to keep it real. And the best part with working with our team, Becky, Lisa, you, Amber, is that we're not hiding from anybody. And Lisa Lawson, I'm going to throw it to you because, hey, you know what? We don't always agree, but we always end up coming together to get the most out of our informational resources, and we can pull together for our team. You don't need to agree 100% of the time, because if you agree 100% of the time, what are you learning? So Lisa Lawson, we learn consistently, and we throw out great content, great information, and we are always learning, right, Lisa?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a huge lesson in life, right? I mean, this the know-it-all that drives me crazy. I'm like, how can you know everything? There's always something new to learn, and we're talking about social media. I think it's so important. This being a loan officer or being a real estate agent, this isn't like a regular 9-to-5 job. So this kind of permeates our lives. We take clients in the morning, we meet them on the weekends, we meet them after work all the time because that's when they're available. So we kind of, although we're trying to be accommodating, this is kind of permeates everything that we do. So I think it's just a natural, progression to having our social media reflect the same, our personal life and everything that we do, because sometimes I'm talking to a borrower and it pops in my head, you know what, other people might want this information. I'm posting it right then and there. Why wait? And I think that people can relate to that. And I think that makes us real. We are, like Becky said, we are real people doing real things, working all the time for them.
Yeah, and we've been around, and we're with Amber Boone here on the Hardcore Mortgage Real Estate Business Podcast, brought to you by Capital Mortgage Funding, for November 8th. Amber, I was once told that if I'm the smartest guy in the room, I'm in the wrong room, okay? So, and I don't want to be the smartest guy in the room. You have to be able to learn from people. When I was a kid, I used to hang out with the adults, my aunts, my uncles, everybody. I wouldn't be hanging out in the backyard with my cousins. My cousins would say to me, "What are you hanging out with Uncle Lou for?" Seriously, Uncle Lou. I'm not kidding you. I go, because what am I going to learn from you? I'm learning from Uncle Lou. It's like I learned from Becky's grandma. I mean, I'm not going to learn, I want to be with people that are going to teach me, Amber. And I think that's such a great thing that you're flying around, you're doing what you do. Because we're all here to learn. Because when we learn and we absorb, we're able to take that and give it back. And that's what I feel that we do really well. We give really good, strong, solid advice. And as Becky will tell you, Amber, we'll tell some people no, and we'll tell some people what they don't want to hear. They got to respect it. If they don't abide by it, at least they have to respect us, Amber.
Absolutely. And, I'll say one of the things too, in addition to being able to network with like-minded people and people who are even maybe a little bit more smarter than you or have ideas. I love being able to bounce ideas off of each other, but also what I've learned in kind of just putting myself out there on social media is that I attract the kind of clients that make working with them so much easier. And I enjoy the transactions so much better because it's not just a deal for me. Like, this is a friendship. Like, I treat them as if they were my friend or my family. And those relationships usually last far longer than the transaction itself, which can lead to referrals, which can lead to other business opportunities. And additionally, continuing to educate myself and putting myself in those rooms and work with the younger generation. So right now I am currently, a mentor with EXP, but I'm also educating myself so that I can work with high school students and college students on financial literacy so that they can be our, home buyers in 5 years, 10 years, what have you. And when they do, hopefully they remember who taught them and they come back to want to work with me.
Well, they will for sure. And that's the attitude you have to have. You're not doing things to get results today. You're doing things to get results tomorrow, the next day, the next month, the next year, and so on and so on. So many people want immediate gratification. Becky, let's talk about some things that we as a company have going on. We've got so many new programs, construction loans. We've got standalone seconds. We've got bridge loans that somebody can just plug their information and within a few moments get approved on a bridge loan. There are so many things that we can bring out to the market. First-time homebuyer programs, down payment assistance programs. It just keeps rolling, Becky.
Yeah, I mean, it's all about curtailing the unique situation of our buyers and putting them in a unique program that fits their profile. It's about the evolution of the mortgages and like what Amber is saying, like teaching the youth, the financial literacy. There's so many people that don't know how to save money. They weren't taught. They don't understand credit. They don't understand that a mortgage inquiry doesn't even affect your credit for 30 days. They don't understand that you can actually have more than one person pull your credit and it not have any impact on it for 45 days. I mean, there's all these nuances that are constantly changing, and you have to be plugged into the people that are boots on the ground, that are here working for you. I mean, we do have so many new, we've made some changes. We've kind of plugged into some things that, we could see that there was some things missing in the mortgage industry. There were some programs, there were some nuances, there were some social media things that were missing from this, from the mortgage industry. And, I'm all about being a pioneer. You're not crazy, you're first sometimes. And, we're here to change the game. I want to leave this place, this industry, just like Amber, just like everyone on here, better than I found it. And part of that is creating situations for people that never thought they could buy a house in their entire life, or taking them into their step-up home and literally changing their lives with getting a standalone. You can close on a house and have an instant equity line of credit ready for you when you want to make these upgrades, because you don't want to take out all this other credit card debt, because that's what happens. People buy their homes, they fix it up, they don't have the capital to do so, and now they're in credit card debt. Now they're refinancing. Now with us, even in this market where people don't talk about refinances, our phones are blowing up with refinances because we have that kind of intimate relationship with our clients and we know how to set them up for success in the future. But it's about having the opportunities now. So when we're talking to someone in the beginning, we're always looking for, what are their goals? Where are they at right now? But where do you want to be? Where do you want to be 5 years from now? And finding that program that's going to set them up for success. I'm really excited to start announcing some of these things that we can do for people. It's life-changing money in some of these situations as well. And I'm always excited to be in line with people like Amber to kind of get that information out there to the right people that need to hear it and want to hear it.
Yeah, this is a Hardcore Mortgage Real Estate Business Podcast for Wednesday, November 8th. I'm going to go back around the horn. I'm going to start with Lisa on last words, go back to Becky, and then Amber Boone, AB, EXP. We're going to have you give the last words of the day, and then we'll wrap it up. Lisa Lawson?
Yeah, we've got a lot of new things on the horizon that, like Becky said, we're excited to announce. Even more programs than we've ever had before. Rates have actually kind of dropped here in the past week. So if you've been on the fence thinking, I don't know, I don't think I can do it, maybe I don't have enough money saved, or maybe I don't understand, call us. Because the answer might be you're not ready right now. Maybe you'll be ready in a couple months. Maybe you'll be ready in a year. But if you don't make a call and get started, you're never going to be ready. So, let us help you, whether it might be a credit issue or an asset issue. We can help. Just give us a call.
Excellent. Becky Ellie, last words of the day.
Yeah, two things. One, I'm going to, in regards to the rates, if you are reacting because the rates dropped, you're already behind the 8 ball. You have to stay in there. If you're out there shopping and you get just, you get disgruntled for a second. As soon as you take that foot off the gas pedal, someone else just went ahead of you. You have to stay in there. You got to start, you have to stay in there and get these offers accepted, because now you're going to reap the rewards of the rates dropping, because you already have your pre-approval, you already have your documents, and your offer is already top of the line because you have someone that is properly bona fide pre-approvals. The other thing is, I want to talk about CreatorCon. I know my girl's going to talk about it too. I was fortunate enough to grace the stage last year. This year it's going to be November 15th. We are going to be part of the podcast playground from 3 to 6 there. I'll let Amber talk about that and whatever else she wants to speak about. But if you haven't got tickets to CreatorCon, make sure you're doing that. We're excited to be a part of it once again.
Excellent. Thank you, Becky. AB, Amber Boone, let us know what's going on. What do you got?
Yes. So first and foremost, I just want to say that don't wait for the moment to be perfect. Take the moment and make it perfect. Meaning that if you don't wait to buy a house, if that's what you want to do, sometimes it's just a matter of getting the right team. I've had several, but one particular home buyer that comes to mind who was told by several people that she tried to work with that she just wasn't ready. And so she was very discouraged. But when she reached out to me, I renewed hope in her and she ended up getting her dream home. Everything went smoothly. I was so happy. And it was one of those deals that are just like, I'll always remember. But my point is that sometimes when you have the right team, you have the right lender, you have the right realtor, you have the right group of people, you really can accomplish your home buying dreams. And so from that, I do want to talk about CreatorCon a little bit. It is coming up November 15th. Like Becky said, you guys will be on the podcast segment of that. I will be moderating the creator aspect. So speaking to a lot of influencers and creators and helping to reignite that passion to create and to inspire through social media. It is not only a great marketing platform, but it's an opportunity to build community. And ultimately, regardless of your business, I think that community aspect is what's going to help propel you forward.
I appreciate that. What excellent advice. And listen, I want to thank you. I want to thank Amber Boone, AB from eXp Realty. She's awesome. We're going to see her at CreatorCon next week. Always Becky Alley and Lisa Lawson, two stellar individuals in their own right. Love them to death. The best information I could ever get is from Lisa and Becky all day, every single time. I want to thank all our listeners listening, not only around the United States, but around the world. I get texts all the time. When are we coming back on? You guys know when we're on. Every Wednesday morning at 11:30 and every Saturday morning from 9 to 10 on 97.1 FM. So for our producer, director in the booth, Roberta Beauchene, for Harvey Freed, who had to go to a training call, for Lisa Lawson, Becky Alley, and Amber Boone, this is the Hardcore Mortgage Real Estate Business Show. We appreciate all of you and thank you.